Alright, so we're going to look into the best marijuana stocks to buy into August coming into September. So it is September 19th, August 19th at the moment. But before I actually start the video, I'm going to say this. I'm going to put out a disclaimer. This video is strictly educational, so if you decide to buy any stocks or trade it or whatever, go ahead and buy your stocks or trade at your own risk. But ultimately, this is educational. These are just my thoughts as far as investing goes. So, as far as the last video goes, we said that it would potentially drop to about $25, $26 in the last video. So, instead of breaking high from where it was, it broke that inverted head and shoulders, and it broke lower. So we are seeing it slowly get to that point hard and creating some additional gaps and everything, which shows me more that over time it's just going to shoot up. But overall, there's nothing on the left side really holding it back. I know there is a lack of data and everything, but I see no other signs of like support other than around the 25 area. So my best bet would actually see it come around, whoops, not that low, but yeah, somewhere around the 25, and then just start turning around then. But that would be, to me, that would be my ideal zone if I wanted to like buy some more Tilray. And plus, even still, you don't have as much to lose. It's better than spending, where was it at? At one point it was at $300, $200, $100. You're at a good spot even if you decide to buy now. So, for me to actually make a purchase, I would actually think to let it drop and just look for a reason to make my purchase from then. Besides, just jumping the gun. 'Cause right now it's still obviously moving. So to me, it can actually get a bit cheaper. But overall, the company's making money still. So with time, I could potentially see this turning around and running in my favor. So the next one I want to look at is Aurora. So before I said it could get to about the $5 or $4 mark, and it looks like it's on its way down as well. It's in more of a channel still from what I showed before, but it's kind of broke that. It had some form of rejection, but it's been kind of respecting it somewhat. So over time, you could still see it losing its value for a little bit. And then let's go to the lower time frame to kind of check out things from another perspective. I honestly don't see much from this point. All I could really say is just look for, I personally just need a reason for it to turn around, and honestly I don't see that reason at the moment. I mean, yeah, it could still fluctuate to around like the 650 area and all that, but over time I just don't see this personally as a buy spot, unless on your own you might want to on your own just because it's at a cheap price. I mean, it's only like a little over $5. There's nothing wrong with just going ahead and running with it, but I do believe that it can actually drop to a lower price at this point. And it's anyone's option what they would actually want to do with this. You can actually drop your own comments below if you see something else or you think otherwise. But from my perspective, I just don't see it stopping yet. I think it has more room to drop at this point. Even in September, like, maybe that potentially that could be the best spot, but there's not enough data here to really say about anything less than that. But that's what I see until I see a reason for it to turn around. And then for another share, we can check out Canopy Growth. So for that one, it didn't hold for me at all. It dropped to a lower spot, even left a gap for us. So even this one, all stocks, especially with talks recession and everything, they've been dropping hard. Yes, we had it set up to like kind of rise for a bit, but I guess it just broke all hopes for a trend and then just kept going. So we could see it still dropping to let me go to a higher time frame. As low as 11. It is a possible, but not guaranteed to actually happen. So if you wanted to just kind of take your time and look for a reason to buy at some point, you know, there are options. But at the moment, I don't see that reason to really make a purchase on this yet. It's just more of a push to sell. And this guy is definitely following its trend on point, especially compared to the last video. It broke the triangle and just started shooting down. So you see it's left a gap, so that confirms that at some point it can rise again. So potential points, I would go to about the 7, because like we said, at this point it's been following a strong trend in the last video, like we said in the last video. So from my perspective, if I wanted to get in on this, I would. Purchasing the asset would be much easier, but I would like to get in at a cheaper price if I see that opportunity. So if I could get it at $7 or close to 8, whatever, I'm going to look for that opportunity. So it's going to definitely be better than spending 11. You'll be able to have a few more at least, or depending on how much gets invested. But this is a good opportunity too. All marijuana stocks are still making money, but like I said, there's talks of recession and everything else. So the types of things like that kind of scare investors and push the markets. So whatever you do is really up to yourself. If you have any questions or anything, or comments of your own, any experience to share, feel free to comment below your own thoughts. And now our 5th and final, we have Aphria. So in the last video, it was looking more like Aphria could rise and drop, but it's kind of stayed in the same area. It's just been more of a consolidation period, It's not to say that it won't rise, because it looks like it could turn into it's like turning into a flag. So there could be that potential for it to rise and then just for it to fall down. But I wouldn't say it would go down to 0, personally. But yeah, it's a channel and all that, but let's be realistic. There's nothing wrong with the company. The company is making some decent profits. If you check on your own, you can like check Market Watch or other sites such as that. But just kind of check the analytics to kind of see how much money the money brings in. But considering there's growth within the company, I wouldn't think that it would go all the way to 0 and just be done just like that. So I could see it potentially going to a cheaper price, though. I would just let it do its thing and kind of look for a reason to buy like other things. Like this whole recession talk kind of pushes everything at this point, so we'll see what happens over time. But if you have any thoughts as far as any of these mirrors of Warner stocks goes, so go ahead and comment below, throw out your own opinions. What do you think is going to happen with all of these stocks? How low do you think they'll actually go, and when do you think they'll turn around? Feel free to answer that. If you found this video helpful, feel free to give it a like. And feel free to subscribe as well.